Try to imagine the internet as one giant iceberg. A huge number of people around the world, including you and me, live every day on the very surface that, as we know, is accessible to everyone. But there is another side that is submerged so deep into darkness. Many of you have heard, but how many actually had some experience with this not so pleasant part of the network? I certainly didn't, and with everything I know about it, I must say I don't have any excessive desire. According to sources, 10% is the percentage of the internet that we can access using ordinary search engines like Google. However, this doesn't automatically mean that the other 90% belongs to dark web. There's some more to say sub-levels and milder variants, such as deep web, but the topic that interests us exclusively lies one level below, and over the years many information related to this part of the internet had appeared. Some are so shocking that it's simply impossible to believe something like that actually exists. So my question is, are you ready to find out what is hidden on the dark side of the internet? Some skeptics believe that this is a scam, but as the video progresses, this will seem like something quite possible and realistic. And I personally heard many stories in real life about certain people hiring hitmen for doing their deeds. A woman from Nevada named Christy Felkins paid $5,000 worth of Bitcoin to have her ex-husband killed back in 2016. So yeah, I don't quite understand how there can be skeptics if we have an actual proof. In 2015, the Fortune magazine published a story quoting a survey by an IT firm that provides data, and it turned out that for a sum of $180,000, the person you want to take care of can also be a public figure. Beating options as well as mutilation are also reportedly available. A website called Quora contains certain articles by an author who claims to be very familiar with dark web and claims that there are sites that deal with the sale of certain products made from human skin. A large number of stores are available, and therefore the number of products, starting from clothes all the way to furniture. As stated, the descriptions below the products are very disturbing. Take the following sentence as an example. All products are handcrafted by a craftsman who has years of experience behind him in working with the finest leather that exists. Human leather. There are even claims on Reddit about this topic as well, and according to information, a pair of shoes made of this material ranges in the area of $14,000. This part alone reminds me of a certain person, and I believe the majority of you know who that person is. In 2012, Gizmodo published an article with prices for certain parts of the body or organs that are available on the black market. The information came from anonymous sources who had access to the dark web, and the reason for the spread of that same information remained unknown at the time. However, with some logical thinking, we can guess why. A pair of eyeballs hovered around $1,500. A heart was sold at this price, and the price of a kidney reached over $260,000. Of course, the authenticity of these things cannot be confirmed, but the fact is that illegal organ trafficking actually exists and takes place in a very real world. According to the sources, the seller receives only a part because the biggest profit from the transaction goes to the middleman. The organs usually come from the poorest countries in the world. For me personally, one of the most sickening areas. Again, according to sources, some forums bring together people who have one thing in common: human flesh. There was reportedly a site called Cannibal Cafe, but it has been taken off the web in the meantime. You might remember this name from the documentary about Armin Meiwes. People posted ads and shared eerie experiences, as well as looking for tips on what is the best way to cook somebody. Recipes, photos, and even videos, as if it were a completely ordinary culinary show. In an average person, this would cause sickness, huge amounts of stress, and very likely the urge to vomit. But in the case of visitors to these forums, probably just mouth-watering. In addition, frozen human meat was also included, which was sold at certain prices. Throughout the history of mankind, the human race has always been subject to certain types of experiments. As technology advances, so does the level of experimentation. While over time this has brought some improvements when it comes to humanity, there is always a dark side. And that dark side is, in addition to failed experiments, also the side that deals with this for the sake of its own or someone else's sadistic pleasure. Reportedly, there is a site on dark web owned by doctors who perform procedures on patients against their will, and they are often picked up from the streets. Experiments include pain tolerance, drug testing, starvation, blood transfusions, and more. In order to get rid of all traces, the bodies of the deceased are allegedly dissected and then packed in bags that were then thrown into containers near the butcher shops. There are rumors of an existence of so-called red rooms, where viewers get involved live and watch the torture of other people or even murders. However, although there are many stories about this, their existence has not been confirmed so far, but there have been cases that are very similar to this description. An Australian named Peter Scully was arrested after making sick films in which children were tortured. He ran a company called No Limits Fun and charged as much as $10,000 so other sick minds like him could get involved live and follow what he was doing. Also, during the search, the police found human remains on his property. I will probably do a full documentary on this piece of trash in the near future. Believe it or not, there are even worse stories, and they are disturbing on so many levels that compared to them, the name of this channel seems like a birthday cake. I left out the worst, most disgusting details on purpose, But what I can do is to suggest a movie that is definitely worth watching if you're still interested in this topic after the video. We have found there is much more lurking under the iceberg than we know of, and we're ultimately thinking. Some say it is a blessing to live in ignorance, and after this video, that sentence is not far from the truth at all.